Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
Idiots.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today with a very talented actor known for his compelling performances, and he's been a part of every classic series you can think of, series and movies. I'm talking about Oz, The Sopranos, Pootie Tang, Saints and Sinners, and now you can check him out on BMF currently, but you might know him as Bodie from The Wire, my brother, J.D. Williams.
Oh, man, thank you.
Bro, how you been, man? Multiple
Thanks,
people,
bro.
and I told you this, multiple people have been hitting me up and they're like, man, you gotta get JD Williams on this thing, like on the podcast, because it's just like not only you know, obviously you're a big part of my my upbringing, especially being on the show and everything, but also you're one of the quintessential characters, obviously, on the show. Bodie, he's a part of so many stories, and he's one of the few characters that actually touches, you know, kind of every part of the series. But you know, we'll get into that. Just want to see how you doing, man. How's life? What's going on?
Man, you know, staying busy, like you said, man. I'm on that journeyman thing that I be doing, and
Yeah.
I'm fortunate and blessed to be doing it. Family's good, daughter's good, you know.
Good.
Even in relation to you, like one of the reasons that it was such a big deal with the dynamic that we had when we was doing, you know, when all of us was together,
Right.
was that when I was on Oz, that was kind of the dynamic that I had with all of the older dudes that was there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was like kind of like watching y'all and seeing y'all move. Like I was like feeling like I was kind of, you know, passing it on, paying it
Right.
forward, watching myself, you know. So
Feel it.
and y'all was all like super talented. Y'all was all dope. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that hard, you know what I'm saying, to look y'all out and just, you know, be like, all right, well, stand here, or y'all be quiet and
Yeah,
stay
tighten this
together.
up real quick.
Stop moving around so much.
Yo, like I know we be a crafty or something, and they're like, "Yo, where the boys at? One over here, one over there." It's like, come on, y'all, let's consolidate a little bit.
Yeah, stay together. Y'all stay together. That was the first thing I think I was trying to tell y'all. Is, you know, stay around each other, like when y'all on set. You know, stay
Right.
close to each other. So.
That's funny. So like I want people to know a bit more about like your story. Like you obviously got started in the game at a young age as well, you know, and it shows in your work, and you've been a part of some great shows. Like what was the tipping point for that? Was your family in entertainment? How did that even start?
Really, it was a blessing. Just like it was like through school, I was kind of led right to it. Born and raised in mostly North New Jersey,
Right.
but I moved around a lot. You know what I'm saying? Had the single mom, had the grandma life. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Lived with a couple of my other relatives sometimes, but you know, I was like taken care of. But I traveled around a lot, so everywhere I went, I would go to a different school, and sometimes one time I went to 3 different schools in one semester.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so but I would always figure out how to, you know, either stay out the way or fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And usually I would end up like doing like oration or the announcements at like this brand new school. I just got here yesterday, and then the next day I'm doing like so it was just like kind of leading up to that. Got to Arts High School, go Jaguars in North New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? And my teacher, my drama teacher, Miss Sharon Long, and I had great drama teachers, RIP Miss Brazel. But one of my drama teachers, she just introduced me to some agents, and it was like I said, it was just this snowball effect. But the training came from doing a lot of stage plays, going to all these different schools, always reading speeches, you know, doing that type of thing. Then I got the actual kind of formal training when I got to high school.
Right.
And then jumping right into Oz, you know, it was just like, yeah, I was always able to hone what I was doing with every project I was doing, because I was always working around, you know, phenomenal people. I was fortunate enough to be a part of these, you know, great projects and
Right.
great shows, and you know, like it's crazy, you know. But yeah, I always took it serious. I always took it as a blessing. But you know, I'm still going. You know, I'm still here because it's not over yet. You know what
Of
I'm saying?
course.
I still gotta, you know, we still gonna hit that bone. You know. So,
Yeah, no. I mean, it's also I think I asked because it's just shocking too. Like the same thing people like to say about like what we did on The Wire, but like watching you, like I told you, I went back later and I saw Oz. Like I didn't realize, like I had always heard people talk about it, but it was one of those shows. A, I was young, so obviously I wasn't watching it when it first came out, and then two, I didn't realize though, like no, like that whole grittiness of HBO, like it starts there. Like, you know what I mean? Like Oz was like the show that was like, no, oh shit, like y'all doing this on TV, but well done in a artful way. So even just you being that young and being able to keep up, you know what I mean? And I more than keep up, you know what I like, working with some vets, and on top of that, working with some vets on some content that ain't always, you know.
Yeah. Well, that a lot of that came from theater training too, like because the show was written like a play already, and then it was just this cadence that it had. So I was able to know, that, and to hit my mark, to remember this and say that, and so I was kind of already trained to kind of take those kind of cues and do that type of stuff. Now the trick for me was not being like tripping over who was coming through the set. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I gotta just act like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta just work. Oh, today I'm just working with who? Rick Fox. All right, cool. I'm shooting the scene with Rick Fox. All right, fine. And this back then.
Oh no, then I gotta act like this nigga's just another nigga in the jail. Like, what? He's a Laker.
And he want to ask me about acting. He don't want to talk about basketball. He want to talk about acting. You know what I'm saying? Because he been watching the show. So and I'm like, all right, well, cool, whatever. We'll just do that together, whatever. Whoever. It was a bunch of people came through there. I be forgetting, like, so how many people came through there? Tretch, Cool J, Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
That and
then not to mention just all the vets. Like yeah, like there were so many actors I would go, oh, like I know you from mad others. Oh, so this was, this is crazy. Like,
hey, I tell you, when they had Charles Dutton for those Rock, when they had him on the show, I used to just wait for them to write scenes with me and him in it. Like I used to be tripping off that. Like that's how it was. Like Oz was like the best college ever. Like for me, that's how I looked at it.
No, and I can completely see that. That you can't get better training than that. And you're getting paid, which is also nice. And then off of Oz, was that what got your part in Sopranos? Was that kind of like you were in the infrastructure and or did The Wire come first?
No, it was kind of all that way. It was like it was Oz, then Sopranos came out, then Sex and the City came out. So it went in that order, and they're all, and even The Wire, all of that was the same cast and director. So
right, Alexa Fogel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Man.
Yeah, man.
No, that's so cool.
Crazy side fact. I was watching, my daughter was upstairs watching a bunch of musicals and stuff, and we was comparing stuff. So we was watching like the original Hairspray. Pat Moran casted that.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow. And I was just reading it. I was like, oh, and I knew it was set in Baltimore and everything, but I'm like, oh, snap. Damn, she's been going off.
That's crazy. It's funny though, because you don't realize, I mean, even with actors a lot of times, like, because like you said, people don't know until you hit that thing. Like then the world knows, but then prior everybody be like, oh no, I saw him in a couple people here and there, but like think on the back end, like there's so many goated casting directors that just maybe not every year they're casting the craziest thing, but like they cast Denzel Washington first, like shit like that, and you're like, oh, this is a whole different caliber. But it's unfortunate because I feel like in other instances of this industry or other departments of this industry, it feels like people their memories aren't as short. But when it's on camera, it feels like the memory is real. Like, oh, okay, what's the last 2 years look like? Oh, okay, and it's just like.
I agree with you on that. But I understand the dynamic of that, because on camera you're giving the people, that rush, that more visceral feeling. Off camera, they're just making the machine work, and the people off camera, they need the machine to work more so than they need the people in the front of the camera.
It's just like a commercial. We're actually making the car.
Mhm.
We just need your ass to be in the commercial so we can sell the car real quick.
That's it. And,
We're actually making
and unless you get to a point where you become some type of entity that makes themselves.
You are the car.
Yeah, invaluable, right? Yeah, you're the personality. You're the Will Smith, the Hugh Jackman, as Logan, or the Robert Downey Jr. or it has to be that. So that it's a formula to it. I think it really just depends on the person. Another thing, like I said, me and my daughter been going through a bunch of movies. We were just watching we watched the original Beverly Hills Cop, right? So we're going up to the next one, right? So we watched the first one. And I mean, I know that movie, I know all of Beverly Hills Cop's crazy, but just watching it again and getting that refresher, I didn't notice, or it just reminded me how much Will copies Eddie,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Crazy. It was crazy. And I forgot about that. I remember that when I first started seeing Will Smith act, because he was a lot of Eddie Murphy. Then once he started hanging out with Martin, he flipped it to a lot of Martin.
I never as you're saying this, I'm like, that's probably even where the Will like laugh and all that. Oh shit.
Yeah, I think he might have mentioned it in the book, like shortly, like he said something like Eddie Murphy said that most of the time when he was acting, he was doing Bruce Lee. Like he was just doing Bruce Lee. Yeah, he was like just the overacting and being the tough guy. That's what Eddie Murphy said he was doing, and but Will said, I think he said definitely, he Eddie was definitely like a archetype and somebody else. But yeah, I just watched it the other day and I was like, yeah, the quippiness, the way he talked, the speed, the cadence.
And it worked because technically, even if he does the same thing as Eddie Murphy, it'll never look the same as Eddie Murphy.
Oh, nah.
Because Will's they're two different types. But that's what I mean by also it's like, oh, so like, man, that's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air right there. Cool kid. Well, like a cool kid, but who can also be funny. Like we lack that now. Most people are either too serious or just funny.
Yeah, it was funny though too. Also, because watching Beverly Hills Cop, like it's like he's both of them. He's Marcus Burnett and exactly. But Martin is definitely Marcus. Like that's, but Ed can be both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was just I just saw a lot of influence, a lot of lineage. It just reminded me about how much Will, like I said, he was doing a lot of Eddie at first, and then, like I said, once he did the first Bad Boys, he came back the next season on Fresh Prince doing Martin. It was crazy.
Right. Wow. Yeah, but you know why though? Because guys like that, those type of guys, you can't show them too much for too long. You can't. Like Will Smith he's I feel like that. I feel the same about Jamie Foxx. I feel the same about I feel the same about Kanye West. I feel the same about there's certain kind of guy, and I feel like I have a tad of because it's once you show me how you've been doing it, and I realize it's not as crazy as I thought it was. Oh, now we got problems because now I just know. What do you mean? That was it. That was the
that's the trick. Yeah, see, that's why you're supposed to just bring out the steak. Don't cook it in front of everybody.
There you go. Just show them how I look at the end.
Presentation.
Speaking of archetypes, that's where when you got the role of Bodie, what was your archetype for that?
I would have to say it was a lot of Lorenz Tate, a lot of Old Dog. I'm thinking Old Dog, but then also, like I said, I was playing this character in Oz, and I was like, at first, I was thinking like maybe he's like if my character in Oz, Wangler, didn't get locked up, but then I was like, no, this is a whole different dude. Like, this dude would beat him up quick. Like that's how I felt I felt like that about Bodie. Bodie was just different. Like he was just different. So but I was really thinking like that, but I also was trying to get to a point of having like this leadership quality. So I was kind of like kind of get into a Don Cheadle kind of mode where it's like I can pull back at any time, you know,
Right.
and just say what needs to be said. Sam Jackson,
Of course, yeah.
be loud and clear. You know? So it was certain things. And remember, this is like 2002. So, you know,
Some of these people are still coming into who they are.
Yeah. So
right. That's wow.
So that's stuff I was kind of on, and a couple of other influences, of course, but it was mainly just me taking it like that serious, you know, like you know, because I didn't really know where the character was gonna go. Like I'm thinking, like I just got out of this prison show. Now y'all got me playing this wild dude that's free. I thought I was going die at first season on top of a cop car getting shot up by a million cops. I thought they was going to make them I didn't know what they was going to do with him.
Right.
But then I started, you know, by the time we finished it, I started understanding what David and Ed was doing. And then they switched the second season of it. Then I didn't know what they was doing again.
At all.
Like, whatever. Whatever. So
what was the vibe on the set when they switched it up like that? Because obviously that was before my.
Oh, I mean, well, I guess you could say I was a grown up at the time, but I wouldn't consider myself a grown up.
Right.
But the grown ups was mad as hell.
Well, I believe it. It was like, you cutting into my screen time. You cutting into my.
What are we doing? I'm not even in this episode. I'm not da 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 da. What is this? What's happening? Oh, you wanted to get the show a little hot and then switch it up.
Switch it up to some white people. Yeah, I can see.
Certain people was losing their minds, bro. Losing their minds. But that's another thing where I was chill with that because on Oz, like stuff would change like that at any time, you know. So I was like, well, you know, whatever happens, maybe come back. Maybe it's better for the story, you know. And that's when I don't have a problem with something being, you know, changed or something, as long as it serves the story, you know.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I don't get upset when things are done, written well, presented well, you know, acted well.
Just make it make sense.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest frustration I have with a lot of content that comes out now is like certain decisions or certain switches in any capacity are made, and it's like more for, you know, metrics, or it's more for optics, or it's more for, and you're like, damn, like no one's really mad at a story if it's told well, no matter from what perspective. We've seen stories from every perspective, and you can still understand them if they're done well. But, you know, but sometimes trying to do the right thing, you harm stories because they come off unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like you're telling a black story. It's like, yeah, your average black kid probably didn't grow up next to an Asian kid, but you're going to throw it in the story because we got to check every box. But it's like, yeah, but if you're telling a certain story, that's probably not what happened, you know?
Yeah, just make it, like you said, make it make sense. Like, even to that point, now, if you took that particular scenario and you took it from a real story, a real situation,
a whole different thing.
We could be like, okay, I get it. But just somebody just imagining that up out of nowhere, like, oh, this is what I would like that to be. Yeah, that's not.
So the three of them grow up in Harlem. It's one black kid, one Hispanic girl, and one Asian kid. And the three of them are the best of friends, and they solve mysteries. I guess.
I mean, you know,
I need the real version of that story. Now that's a good movie.
That would have to be like a science fiction something. They was born in the lab together, and they have this natural attraction to each other, like salmon or something.
Facts. or you have to do one of those things where it's like it's so ridiculous, like, oh well, his parents are just working in the area for the next year, and then this parent, like, it would have to be something ridiculous.
I mean, but that's kind of the way it's done now. Like, and I don't like to, you know, I don't call nobody out, but I saw the Madam Web joint, and that's kind of what they did in Madam Web. Like, they just pick these random girls, and they just happen to be all near each other, and then they just put them together.
Yep.
And that's how it was written. Like, I'm just like, okay. And yeah, but sometimes studio work and just getting a movie out, because it's so much decisions that go into, you know, shooting, like what scenes to keep, how long to make the movie, what was the
Yeah,
best
that's
take,
true.
so and then it's a lot of us just getting through the strike.
Yeah, just politics in general. I think
Mhm.
that's one of the things that definitely it hurts every industry, but it hurts this industry is the politics, just for the simple fact that you have a bunch of people who want to justify their jobs, but a bunch of people who don't want to take chances,
Mhm.
which is also understandable because, like, I don't want to lose my job. You know what I mean? I probably get paid really well to do this job. So, um, yeah, I think it's also a mixture of trying to make too many people happy. Like with the internet, we have how many voices coming back to us telling us we can do something. And we can guarantee that at least one person, if we did something wild, would be like, I don't like that. Right? Everybody has a voice. So I feel like if you're these huge networks or companies, sometimes you can't fucking listen to everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's if you're trying to please the 15-20% that's always gonna have a problem with something, instead of feeding the 80% that has always loved you. You run
Oh,
into, you know what I'm saying? I think you run into like some of the issues we have now, where it's just like, I mean, like even getting projects off the ground, like even stuff to go out for, it's not as much stuff. It's just because a lot of the stuff that they've bet on for certain reasons doesn't do the numbers.
yeah.
You
Well, now also, because of that, there's a way that anybody, like to your point, anybody can become entrenched in, whatever it is, because you can jump up on the internet, you can pull out your phone, you can,
Right.
shoot something and put it up, and people are entertained. And right now, I guess you say this is the content era, and content is king.
Yeah.
So yeah, so people are always looking for more and more and more, and there's a way for anybody to come up
Yeah.
um, with that. But there's also, to our point of when we talk about like being, professional and doing it the traditional way, um, it's harder to break through into bigger projects and stay there.
Yes.
So I mean, like even to Taraji's point, like she said, and I mean, I think to me, I should have been crying with her, because like that's how my joint been. Like every time, it don't matter what I get. Every time I got to start over, and
Right.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I've been doing it for this long and doing great projects and having a great life and blessed to meet and work with great people and do all of that. And I would think also it'd probably be harder. Like, let's say if I did was doing like $2, $3, $5 million movies, and then all of a sudden I wasn't.
Yeah.
That'll probably be harder to deal with than the slow progression, or at least the consistency that I have now.
Yeah. No, I
So
completely understand.
so yeah, for her to be like, oh, she just did something for 5 million, and then her to drop down and do something for 200,000. That probably
No,
messes
it
her up.
messes with your psyche.
Like
Yeah. But I think it comes down to that, I mean, that is but it also feels like this is I think in today's times, now prior, like the Denzel eras and stuff, no, they were just good. Like once you broke a certain ceiling, you kind of broke that ceiling. That's what that was. Now it feels more like, hey, once you get a couple looks, like it's not on us to keep you going. You got the looks, so you got the eyes. So like I think about things like this. I'm like, okay, yeah, Taraji should probably get paid more, but at the same time, you're Taraji P. Henson. You're probably one of the most famous black women in all of America. You're telling me you can't figure out how to go get some money? You're waiting for these people to pay you? I'm just saying, like, imagine how many things Taraji also has more capital to start up, right? How many people she could get behind her to start something up? How many side projects could a Taraji P. Henson have that make bread?
No, you and know what? And I think you right. At the same time, I think she does, sidestep things and does, things outside of blockbuster or trying to be big, huge movies. It's just a thing where also recognize that Taraji and maybe it's her team.
Right.
They have her on the precipice all the time. It's not like she all the way over there and she like, you know what? I ain't walking back over there. I'm gonna just stay over here and just do this.
Word. I
It's
see what
like
you're
they be
saying. Yeah,
having
you
her
be
like,
right there. Like, nigga, like right.
when Hidden Figures came out, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, her, Kevin Costner, you got, Janelle in there, they kicking
Yeah.
it, Octavia, I'm like, this gonna go hard. They math wizards. I'm like, what's she gonna do after this?
And then
Then she go, right back to the middle again.
But see, and then I think exactly what you just said. But to show you what today's times is, you know who's the winner in that? Janelle Monáe.
Oh, she was.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. Because after she did that, oh whoa, buddy, what did she? She went and did the Glass Onion, and she did. And these are things that to an extent, Taraji maybe could. She's a little older, but maybe could have done. But it's just still the fact of that. Be my point. It's like we've left behind. I won't say we've, but like for the metrics of things, we've left behind like the art and the like tangible work for like, oh no, motherfuckers know them. You know what I mean? So we've said fuck them.
Instagram followers type of thing.
Yeah.
But
And Janelle
also,
was making waves.
but yeah, and she deservedly, and
Yeah.
also this was a thing too. When you brought up like when we talk about like we said a Denzel or somebody like that, we talking about they buying a whole personality. You know what I'm saying? They expect them to be the character, but be Denzel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's not replaceable. But when you said like Taraji, some of Jonelle's roles that could have been Taraji that
Yeah.
or whatever, they could look at Taraji as interchangeable sometimes, especially when she coming for the lead role most of the time,
Yeah.
So
No, that's true.
I think that and so that's when it goes back to your point of like, yeah, she need to, like Proud Mary, she got to have her own vehicles, you know what I'm saying? She has to, that's where she got to be at. So that's when I'm like, well, it's like, all right, cool. Then she in the front of the wave when the stars start coming to the TV.
Right, man, was at the beginning of that. You were not wrong. Like, yeah, damn.
Like,
right. On network too. On network.
Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And
Terrence Howard don't get no respect either. I don't know if you've seen them interviews, but have you seen the science interviews that he had on Joe
man,
Rogan?
you know what? I started, but I had to stop. I think I had to get myself prepared to watch those. You know what I'm saying?
No, bro. So he has two. There's one where he's talking to it's just Terrence Howard and Joe Rogan, and Terrence just and listen, he knows a lot of stuff. Like it's very like some stuff he's saying is like the one times one equals two. All like okay, yeah, but like past all that, like he's saying some shit. He's saying words that you would never expect Terrence Howard to know. Like it's serious. And then they did another one where Joe Rogan brings on his friend Eric Weinstein, and this guy's like legitimate genius. Legitimate genius. Terrence is holding up with him, but he's not getting the respect in that room that he's due at all.
All. Man. Nah, man.
He's a great actor, though. He's a
fantastic
actor.
Yo, I love Terrence Howard. I would love to work with him one day, but bro, he's one of the dudes.
I think that nigga's out. I think I feel like he's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If he get one person to take his science seriously for real, that nigga's like
he gone.
He gone, bro.
Going for a Pulitzer.
Exactly. Fight night gonna be his last hoorah. But nah, it's a funny game. Where do you see? And I mean for yourself as well, but where do you just see this all heading? Because like as to preface it, as somebody who's been doing it now, what 26 years, 27 years myself? No, 28. Yeah, it's like it's seeing like seeing how different the conventional game is now, seeing what other ways, even like the same thing I say about a Taraji, I'm saying about myself. Like you got to find other avenues, or
Mhm.
like you said back in the day, maybe you had to be Denzel or Christopher Walken to sell your whole personality. But now it's kind of like, no, you should be doing that anyway. And then obviously with the AI stuff, just where do you see conventional acting going overall? Do you see the studios getting smaller? Do you see how do you see this panning out?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen first. Like everything is going to start splintering off. Everybody's trying their own thing. Like even if they try it just for a little while,
Right.
just on Instagram, just everybody's going to try something else. So even if it's a podcast, you have people, everybody's expanding, their portfolio, so to say. And some people are going to find whatever the niche is, some people are going to go back to whatever it was they was doing. But I think it's going to like kind of sift through, where people can, be and what they're going to do. And
Yeah.
then those things are going to start getting, the best of those things are going to start getting bought back up again, and homogenized. So, but right now, I think, like we said, it's like all this new tech. Everybody's just, figuring out what to do with it. But there's going to be a point where everybody comes to the same point where it's like, oh, we all got a button for AI. We all can just talk into the thing and know how to use Chat GPT. We all know how to. So, yeah, once that happens and people, can't really tell the difference between, I would think that it'll be an app where it's like you can make a whole AI movie, but you have tiers of how you have to pay for the memory. So you got, if you want a 5-minute movie, it's $14.99 a month. If you want to make a 2-hour movie, you got to pay $69 a month. You know what I'm saying? So that it can render whatever it is that you're trying to tell it. So I think that, everything is going to become more, convenient. It's going to become easier to do. However, there will be kind of that, everything revolves, right? If it don't evolve, it's still going to revolve
Revolve. Yeah.
around. It's just going to turn around, right? So, and just like stuff gets retro, people going to figure out, what it is they can use and what they want to do. Like it's like regular people, like even figuring out like having gimbals now and
Bro. And regular people have like gear. Like it's like what? Like you got gimbals, lenses that like
robot arm. Like,
bro, crazy.
so
And like I mean, because I even always say this, I'm like, think in the early 2000s, nobody could even take a fucking picture. It was like you just took the picture, and then like if you were a photographer, you knew how to take pictures. But no, you got a little cheap camera. You probably is gonna come out shitty. We'll know in a month. And that was that. Now it's like, no, people know how to take photos. Like your average kid, especially young woman. Oh, she knows how to take a photo. And it's
right,
like, damn.
won't
Like,
even let you.
yeah, oh no, that because they know how it's gonna turn out. Because you like, well, you in the picture, you in the frame.
Like, let me see that. No, delete that.
No, I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
Take the picture.
That's hilarious. I feel the same thing, like how you said revolve. I think oddly the same way we're gonna go back to cable eventually, because I mean that's what we're getting. We're getting a whole bunch of streaming services so that at some point they're gonna be one collective streaming service, which is just gonna be cable. I ask my friends this question a lot too about like theater. Where does that go in a society that's based on replay value? Like that's all anything, even think about like streams. Like it's not about selling the CDs. It's about you streaming this one song a bunch of times, or this album, whatever song on the album a bunch of times, the top 5 songs on somebody's Spotify. Like it's all about replay value. Theater's the one thing that is completely out of that business.
Yeah, well, it has to stay. It has to stay pure. It kind of has to, because if you start streaming plays,
Plays.
you know, that
Tyler
messes
Perry,
up.
Tyler Perry did it. He had the bootlegs of his plays. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, but that's fine. That's what he meant to do. You know,
He meant to do that. Was all it
he
like
meant to do that.
having Tyler Perry plays on Thanksgiving on VHS was a strategic plan. Everybody, bro, so
Yeah,
smart. That guy's smart.
but you can't. Yeah. So, but for the sake of the actual art of acting and the sacredness of the theater, what happens in that house, in
Right.
that theater, yeah,
They
you
tried with
can't
Hamilton.
really. But that was shot specifically for. That wasn't like a.
Yeah, it wasn't streamed. It wasn't a
Yeah,
live stream. So
yeah,
how
yeah.
about that? Do you think that they could? Do you think that that's something they could do? Like start putting.
I mean, they do. They have it with Shrek and stuff like that. It's just, like I said, I think that with theater is a slippery slope, because like theater is pure.
Right.
It's about being there. It's
In
about
the moment, literally. Yeah.
being there. So, and anything can happen. It's like going to the circus. Like,
Right.
I don't know, a lot of people want to watch the circus on TV.
That is facts. But also look at that. The circuses are dying, buddy. They're dying. That's what I also wonder. I'm like, will theater be something that it's like, oh no, you go to like New York City and Los Angeles, and then maybe every once in a while there will be a touring show. Because it's like, I wonder, we know the people who keep it funded, and they're usually older people.
Mhm.
Are the
Well,
older people of tomorrow the ones who are going to invest in, like, are their kids, the rich people's kids, who make sure Broadway is always good?
Well, a
Are
lot
they
of
going to keep?
I think so. Also, remember, as a whole community that theater's connected to, that got bread.
Fair,
Number one,
fair.
and then number two, a lot of those theater houses are historic landmarks. So
Mm.
they kind of
They know they're one too. They got their
yeah.
loopholes. Yeah, you're right.
Like, they be all right. They be all right.
You're like, man, this huge theater. Yeah, look, because it's a historic landmark, we pay about $4,200 a month. You're like, nigga, that's a what?
Easy.
Facts.
Like the Limelight. You don't know nothing about that. Young
No,
man.
I don't. What's the Limelight?
That was this club that they converted from a church in Manhattan. It was right there on 6th Street, and I think it was like 6th and 14th. But it was it was like the Studio 51 of the 90s.
Oh, 54. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, and that's and they were probably paying nothing because it was a converted church.
Oh, the owner, he was getting over. He went to all types of jails.
You said all types, white collar, blue collar.
All of them.
That's
All of them.
crazy.
So,
I never asked you about this. What was the experience like shooting Pootie Tang?
yeah, it was great. That was one of those times when I was like, I did have to, I got used to them, but I sucked it up. Like, even the audition, I didn't know Chris Rock was going to be in the room. So at first I'm like, oh man, now I'm thinking, I'm ready to do my comedy routine or whatever it is that I'm looking. I don't understand what this means.
Tip-a-ta. Yeah, you're like, huh?
I didn't know what was going on, but I'm like, look. And actually, I was auditioning for JB Smooth's part, where he was Truckee, where he just kept repeating what he was saying. So I did that part actually. And Chris Rock, and I walked in, I said, oh snap, Chris Rock. So now I'm like, all right, now I got to stay funny. But Chris Rock is right there, so I got to be funny in front of Chris Rock. I didn't know he was gonna be there. Just act like you ain't even see him. Just act like you. So I just walked in front. I walked to the camera. Boom. I did the lines. He was laughing. I'm like, cool. He laughing. Boom. Now he gets up. And he comes around the table. He comes over to me. Comes all up in my space, and starts, improvising with me and everything. Right now, it's not dawning on me at all that he might have saw me on Oz. I'm just thinking,
this Chris Rock.
Yeah, like
that's hilarious.
I'm like, man, why he like on me like this? Why is this so funny to him? Like I'm not thinking he just watched me like be a killer for like the last 6 years or something like that.
Facts.
But anyway, Yeah, he comes over, he reads the lines, and then he starts improvising. I'm good with that, so I start improvising with him. I don't crack. I do the whole thing, and walk out. Boom, I get the part. Now I'm telling you, I still don't know what Pootie Tang is about at this point. Even I still don't know what the show is about. So then I go in on the first day. I'm like, forget it. I'm gonna just go in with the script and just go ahead and do how we do it. And they let me make some decisions, some choices on my own. Like, I'm Froggy. I was wearing the green suit. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, my character, he don't get dirty. I even had a green toothpick, like that. Yeah,
Fire.
they let me pick a lot of stuff. Like, and also coming out of Oz, I wanted to do something funny. You know what I'm saying?
Comedic,
Something
yeah.
silly. That's why, and that was totally the silliest, goofiest thing I could have did. But I knew that it was something that was going to last forever. Like, if there's a list of whatever type of movie Pootie Tang is, it's in the top. It's always going to be in the top 3.
Always. It's like, bro. And then on top of that, you're looking at like I'm sure at the time you probably didn't even know who Louis C.K. was.
Yeah, nah. I mean, actually,
because he probably was just coming up too. Like,
yeah, I knew who he was from his stand up, but I didn't know that he was working with Chris Rock. I didn't know that all of that stuff until I got to the set.
Yeah, and that's like that was even because I remember that was one of the facts when I found that out. I'm like, he directed Pootie Tang, like,
and wrote it.
Fuck, like that's insane. Like,
that is dumb to even say. You wrote Pootie Tang.
Yeah. I'm the writer of Pootie Tang. What?
Sepatown, Wadata, like
Wadata. That crazy. What the guy who played Pootie? Like I know he's a writer.
But Lance.
Yeah, but he just after that he was just done acting, huh? He was like,
no. Lance, he still writes with Chris as far as I know. He wrote a lot of the Chris Rock show also.
Oh, okay. So he's just in his writing bag.
Yeah, that's his dad. This man, yeah, Lance.
That's amazing, man.
Lance's last name. Forgive me, Lance. I'll go look it up later. But I know his name is Lance, though. That's the man right there.
That's dope.
Yeah, Pootie Tang.
So let's dive into BMF.
Right.
What was that experience like? Did you have a good time? I mean, it's you're used to it, but
I did. I had a great time actually because it is a real family vibe over there.
That's cool.
That's dope. I think that's dope. Number one. Number two is I got to play something completely like off kilter from what I normally play. Like I had gold fronts. I get to do an accent. I'm wearing golf clothes.
Right.
Like it's just like I get to. It's kind of like I feel like I'm playing the Joker a little bit. So I get to just lean into it and ham it up, have a good time, and yeah, they're giving me stuff to do over there. So I'm enjoying myself, and I'm glad, and I'm appreciative that they welcome me in like that. Everybody dope over there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know Michael, the producer, Michael Lee. Yeah, and man, and just like great dude, great team of people. Like, yeah, seems like a really fun show to be on.
It is, and also it's a young cast too. It's like a lot of people's kind of like how The Wire was outside of the vets. It's like a lot of people that's their first job or people that don't have a lot of experience.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. So it got a rawness to it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody over there holding it down, doing their thing. And like I said, I'm enjoying being over there. It's giving me that vibe, But like I said, they let me loose though. They let me go off. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you got to remember, especially like you said, with the cast that they have, like, dude, you're really now. When we did The Wire, you were our OG. Now you like, nah, bro, like because it's a different level of like still young, but it's same with myself. It's just like, yeah, we can still be young, but it's like there's a different level of seasoned. You know what I mean? There's a different level of you've been on all kinds of sets, and it's just like having that exposure it's different. And especially it's good that they're able to bring on people who are seasoned like that because then it only helps the whole. You know what I mean? It helps that set.
I agree, man. But like I said, and I was just thinking about this the other day. I was just the most grateful thing is to just be able to, stay on the journey, to be able to keep working, doing different experiences. I do independent stuff still. If this big thing come, I'll do that. If whatever, if it's just a music video, if it's something that I'm interested in and I feel like it's something new that I haven't, especially if it's something that I haven't really like on a platform that I haven't really been on yet.
Right.
I usually don't mind giving it a shot, But that's, like I said, my resume has always been that, like I said, I look at people like, Don Cheadle or Sam Jackson, you work the work, and eventually, people kind of they know me now, but so it won't be so weird if I end up in something big. They'd be like, "Oh, about time,"
Oh, 100%. I mean, Giancarlo Esposito, bro. Like those are the kind of people I look at as archetypes, for
right? That's another
our kind of careers. It's like, oh, you've done a lot of stuff. The people who know, they remember. They be like, man, that guy was standing behind Eddie Murphy, and you know what I mean? Like the people who know, but the people who don't know, one day you pop up on the screen, and now you're Gustavo Fring. And from that point forward, you're Gustavo Fring, and I think, whoa, where has this guy been? He's the greatest actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of times also, people when they follow your career or you pop up, they kind of start seeing their potential, and sometimes people show you love by believing in you, and you keep popping up, you keep showing up, and you keep doing the job. It kind of, like I said, it's a way that it kind of locks you in. Like some people just be in it because they don't have nobody else to call. Like it's like, damn, last minute, who can we call? You know who to call, that same one person that they always call, and you like, how does this person?
Facts.
Who does this person know?
Yo, it'd be Aggie though, because it's usually that person I'm never mad at it when it's just the person who just gets lucky and always gets the call, but that's usually not what it is. It's usually that person who's just very, very like Aggie. They're very in, they're always at every event, and it just turns into, oh yeah, call him. Listen, I'm not mad at it. I understand it happens. There's what do they say? There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there you go. There's a multitude of ways to get it done. That's never been my way, but I'm just grateful when I'm on somebody's mind. I've always looked at it like, hey, you're not doing yourself any favors by being invisible, but at the same time, if you've been fortunate enough to have the resume and do the work, the work's there, the reel's there. The things you do are there. People will see them when they're ready to see them, or when they need to see them, or when you're useful to them. Cool. But as long as I'm going to be in the running, I'm going to be active. So, whether you randomly saw an interview I did, whether you randomly saw a reel because, my agency finally actually sent one, whatever it is, it's like I'm going to come across your desk in some capacity because I have to. And I can't wait for you to be thinking about me. Sometimes I have to just put things in the world to make it happen.
Well, you are what you are. You are all these things. You an entertainer. You a young black man. You a performer. You a thought person. You are what you are, and you just keep being those things. Somebody will come along. They're gonna pay you for what you are. They're going to pay attention for what you are. If somebody was a violent person that smacked somebody, they going to be that. They're going to get paid for smacking somebody. Like somebody's going to say, you know what? I could use you.
On a reality show, you'd be great.
Or whatever it is. Or
Bad Girls Club. Let's get you on there right now.
Anything, whatever, join the gang. Come on. I don't care what it is.
Right.
Or, you are good at math or whatever it is. But when you, like we said, you build up that resume and you stay doing that, you stay being a creative, You stay being an athlete. Somebody that's out there playing basketball every day.
Right.
That's what. And then somebody come along and be like, yo, he been over there dribbling that ball for 10 years. What you going to tell him?
Right.
What you going to tell him? He not a basketball player. He don't know how to play basketball. But that's what he's not an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So you are what you become. So I keep, like I said, I build on my resume because it's something that people can't take away from me and say. And it's not about being like successful or anything like that or super successful. It's about actually getting it done. You know what I'm saying? And just being that. Being that. If I was a boxer, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you don't want to keep getting knocked out all the time. But if you putting your heart and soul in it and you training all the time and you fighting and you eating right and you doing all the things that it takes to maintain that, to become that, nobody can't tell you that's not what you are, So just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like just keep putting them pennies in the jar, man. Like they keep going. Cause like I said, I forget all the time all the little stuff that I did. I was like, man, I did penny stocks for a while. Then I did telemarketing. I did security. I did,
Right.
and then, but then also the stuff when it comes to the acting, it's like, oh yeah, I've done this with a car. I flipped over. I done shot over this person. I forgot my body. Then got possessed in a TV show by James Franco.
Right.
Like it's a bunch of stuff where you like, damn, and you moving, but yeah, just bank that, bank it because, like you said, you're gonna come across somebody's desk just naturally, just because that's where you've been the whole time.
You are what you are. No, that's one of the coolest perspectives I've ever, because I never thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right.
That's from Popeye.
Really?
Mm.
No, I'm just saying that because that's some real shit. Like I never thought about it. Like, yeah, if this is what you are, at some point someone will pay you to be it because this is what you are.
That's
so
it.
It's just you can be the most refined version of that. That's the best option. But damn, that's real.
If you're a knife, eventually somebody gonna use you to cut something.
That's so true, man. Before we get out of here, what things in today's times outside of the career, what's making you happy? What do you enjoy doing? What's clearing your head?
Oh man, like this summer, spending time with my daughter, that really helped calm me down a lot. Actually seeing a lot of my family this summer. A lot of my family came to visit me at the house this summer in the last month or two, and it's more coming. So that's been really great. I've been barbecuing a lot, cooking out.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
I've been hooking that up.
You nice with it? You nice with it with the
Yeah,
barbecue?
man, I got 3 grills in the back. They won't stop sending me grills. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
When I'm on the East Coast, we got to do a barbecue or something.
Yo, September 20th, I got my mom and my aunt coming down, and they probably going to bring a couple. I know they going to go crazy, so you're welcome to come through.
Bet.
But yeah, just mainly that, staying chambered up a lot, staying focused, just, how we be ready for the next job.
Yeah.
I'm in between stuff right now, so but I do have a couple of films that I'm about to start working on, but it's just staying ready, man. But yeah, like I said, spending time with the family is really what been keeping me centered mostly lately.
No, I feel it. And are you doing stuff on those projects like in front of the camera and behind, or are you just mostly?
No, these 2 things actually just came through. So right now in this one project, believe it's. I wonder if I could promote it. I don't know if I can yet.
It's all good.
Oh yeah,
he's working, people. He getting to it.
Well, yeah, it's coming, and it's down here in Atlanta, Georgia. But anyway, no, I'm in front of the camera on that one, and there's a television series. Hopefully, it's this Hulu series if everything goes really well.
Okay,
that's in front of the camera, but that's dope. Those are my 2 front runners right now. But it's always something. Thank God. It's always something,
What happened with the? I want to ask you about that. I saw the press you guys were getting for the Mobb Deep stuff.
Oh well, look, man, that was Trey speaking something into universe, and somebody overheard, and then it kind of just TMZ. I don't know how they picked it up, like out of nowhere. But then Trey just ended up talking to a couple of people in the camps, and it was kind of rolling around a little bit right now. Like, so,
That's dope, man.
I think that, like I said, how sometimes the right energy gets behind things and stuff happens. So if that births itself like that, it was meant to be.
100%.
A lot of people interested in it. A lot of people want to see it happen. I would love to play P.
And there you go. That's exactly what you said, though. And that's you just doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And the momentum and the energy. And now you coming across somebody's, right. Because you exactly.
That's what you do. That's what you did. And I broke bread with P a couple of times. I think I've been in like a couple of their videos. And see, that's another thing. I forgot I was in their movie that they made. The first one is called Murder Music. It's probably hard to find it now. Because that was a super bootleg movie where nobody knew what they was doing when we was making that movie. Nobody.
Funny. How old were you?
Probably 20, maybe 20, 21, maybe. Something like that.
That's hilarious.
Yo, we was out of control too. Out of control. Yep. I forgot. Sometimes I forget about that whole thing. Because in my mind, I'm thinking work.
Right.
But, and then I just go home from the work, but then I remember I'll be like, but yeah, that was a fun time. They had me bugging out, I'm the one. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of that.
Where do you think that professional, because I know you said like growing up, you were moving around a lot and all that kind of stuff. Where do you think that professionalism, because that is something that you just don't see in 20-year-olds, or I mean, this, like you just don't see it. People maturing early in this business. Like, what do you think that was schooling, or do you think that was just upbringing, or?
Yeah, I think it was mostly upbringing because I had a lot of respect for my family members, and we was always taught manners anyway. So learn to listen first, and that's one of my things. Is like I think that's the first tenet of actually acting is to just listen first. So, and then that just went into everything else, learning to box, learning to sing, learning to do whatever you're doing. If you listen first, learn the math. You listen first, then you might start to pick stuff up,
Right.
So that was just kind of number one. But yeah, that kind of translated even like, working at a new job, you sit there, you listen, you say, yes, sir, no, sir, I'm moving over here, da, da, da. So once I hit the set, just like going to college, once I hit the set, I was an observer, I was like looking and I was like watching and I was saying, oh, I'm going to do that better. Or I'm going to, talk to this. This is the person that needs to be talked to about this.
Right.
So it was just about, so I think I also had a natural thing about paying attention anyway. So that was also, I think, a gift. So, but yeah, that's important, and
one of the biggest things of the whole industry is I always just say that, especially as a child actor, it would be like, no one's really hiring you to give an Oscar winning performance. They're hiring you because you're cute. You can stand on your mark. You're not in trouble on set, and you can do this over and over again and not say, I want to go home or I quit. Like that's legitimately all we're paying you for.
Right. Your patience. That's it.
Patience. And it's just funny to see because I mean, we've all heard the nightmare stories. We all know how they usually go, where people either get great opportunities, they fuck them over because they're not, focused, or they're not great on set, or sometimes they're fantastic actors, but they're just on set, they're just nuisances. And it's just like, we can't, we tell him to come to set, he's not ready, he's blah, 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 we're always waiting, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I know where mine came from. I know it came from my dad being on set with me at a young age, discipline from my parents. And then just like you said, it just carries over into other things. But yeah, it's just, and this, especially with young Black actors, it's rare. It's rare that you see that and you see somebody who's always just on their, like, who hasn't been taught to be on their job, who's always on their job. That's hard regardless of who you are, but like,
yeah, especially being young. Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think a lot of the theater work that I was doing, like going to all the different schools and growing up, a lot of theater work helped me. And Arts High School, like I said, just all of that kind of honed in the fact that, like I said, okay, well, this is, and I didn't have, a manager or anything like that. I just was showing up, just, like I said, sitting there looking right, watching everything, and then just doing my performance and leaving out. And that's funny too, because I saw a clip of Raven Simone. She said something about how she would turn on her character and then turn it off and not really remember what she did. And it kind of became like a muscle, and that's true, in a sense that does happen, it happens to me. Like most of the time it happens to me with auditions. Like I won't remember. I'll be like, I think I had a good audition. I must have had a good audition because I'm not tripping. Because if I make if I do something I don't like in an audition, I'll remember it.
Yeah, you feel it. You can literally feel it. You're like, oh, this wasn't. Yeah.
But if I walk out the audition and I don't remember anything, I'll be like, I must have did okay because I don't have nothing to complain about, and did I say it like this? And then that kind of transfers also, like sometimes when you get on set or whatever it is. But yeah, there's a compartmentalization that happens the more you switch in and out of what
I
you're
think
doing.
that comes with two things. I think that comes with in auditions for sure. Speaking for myself, blocking shit out. So. I know you've been in enough auditions where, you've had great auditions and you've had those auditions where maybe the people watching you were kind of douchebags doing things they could have been paying attention or all that kind of stuff. But when you've been in those rooms, then you start to realize, oh, I can't be bothered with whatever you people have going on. I'm going to lock in on the reader and I'm going to do this because I know what I came here to do. I can't be focused on why are you on your phone and what's that face you're making? You might just have something in your teeth and looking at me like, I don't know what that means. And why am I trying to figure that out? Why I should be focused on these fucking lines. So yeah, I think that's for sure one aspect of it. You learn to just ignore that. But there was another piece you had said too. You had said we went from auditions and then also blocking things out. I feel like sometimes on set it's just a matter of I always notice it's easier on set because you're locked in with
everything else, the environment.
Yeah, it's
going on. Yeah,
it's just right. And the person who you're reading with is actually like, no, like, bro, if you were reading with me every audition and we were sitting there doing it, like, no, we'd be doing scenes, like real scenes, opposed to a room with 25 people or like especially testing, a room with 25 people in suits just sitting there looking at you like, and it's a comedy.
Yeah, no, I was quiet in the room. You like, no, but look, that's another thing. And see, that's why I said it's like a lot of my training is theater work because, like, in theater and stage, you just be off your rocker. Right. And that's kind of what got me. That's what got me Oz. At the audition for Oz, I threw myself off camera, like during the audition. Now, outside of the corner of my eye, now there was nobody there, but I was pretending like somebody had grabbed me and threw me up against the wall.
Right.
And I mean, I think this probably was like, I don't know, maybe my 5th or 10th audition or something like that. And I hadn't did all of that, but I don't know, it just hit me to do it. And I didn't see nothing wrong with it. The camera was pointed at me, but I wasn't thinking about that. I just threw myself off. And at the corner of my eye, when I hit the wall, I could see Alexa and her assistant look at each other like, but I just kept going. Going. Now I'm up against the wall, choking myself, doing the lines.
Dedication, man.
Going crazy, bro. And then it was like, all right, cut. I'm like, I think I was feeling pretty good, and then they was like, all right, thank you. Thank you very much. So I left, but I got the call back or whatever, right? And call back, I pretty much did the same thing. I didn't do it as violently because we was in a small room, right. And I was like, calm down. But I think it was just so she was like more so the fact that I was going for it, and yeah, that was funny. And then I left the room after the callback. They called me and let me know I had it in like 5-10 minutes.
And that's how, and the rest was history,
bro. Yeah. So yeah, to the point, like yeah, sometimes we the training, sometimes we don't know better and it works. Sometimes there's all of these different mechanisms that we use to, get to the character. Right. But I think overall, the more that we work, the more we train that muscle, the more we kind of get to that point where it's just like, all right, there's like some type of, there's a little bit of separation between us and the characters,
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Yeah, until you're that personality, and then you have to turn off your whole personality, and I think that'd be the other issue
Yeah.
with those people. But listen, bro, thank you so much for doing this interview. I had a great time, man. I know.
You missed it. You ain't noticed.
Oh, what? Wait, where did you get that? Why don't I have one?
Somebody gave it to me. A fan gave it to me.
That's amazing.
He hooked
Well,
it up.
look, you didn't peep mine either. You know, I got the classic. You gonna look out for me?
Okay. See, I was gonna do the Mike K. Oh,
With the quote on the back?
look out for me. You gonna look out for me? You promise? Oh, go ahead, Randy.
You know, gotta self promote a little bit.
We celebrating.
Love, bro. Thank you so much, man. And I know people are gonna love this. So,
all right, man. Yo, man. Thank you, man. I love you, brother.
Love you
keep
too,
doing
man.
your thing. And any other time you want me to come through, let me know, bro.
Hell yeah. I know me and the guys we're trying to get together doing a rewatch. So definitely gotta have you pop in on one of those.
Okay, you already know.
My brother, thank you so much.
If y'all get a little messy, we can talk about something else.
My man.
All right, brother.
And we out. Peace.